Mick Stone's the referee, and we're going to see Canterbury defending the northern end of the park in the first half, and Canberra down that southern or scoreboard end as Gary Belcher takes the ball and immediately runs it back towards the Canberra quarter line.
Interesting that Canberra have elected to run into the wind in the first half. They must be expecting it to pick up in the second.
I suppose that's what they call a home ground advantage, Mark.
Yes, it certainly is, and they'll know each blade of grass out here, but it's very, very slippery out here this afternoon, and I'm sure that Canberra need to use a kicking game in order to turn Canterbury around and make sure they do. Already we've seen a penalty in the first minute, but Canberra would be well advised to use their halves, particularly O'Sullivan, to keep Canterbury backpedal.
Canberra will be really looking forward to scoring a try against the Bulldogs this afternoon. They didn't get one in the first round when they went down 23-4. O'Sullivan, and he is the little man who can really break up the opposition. Very quick, finds a hole, and there's Jackson, his first run of the afternoon. Young man who's come on in leaps and bounds in recent years. Quickly across the back line, now getting out there amongst the centres and taking that ball up is Ashley Gilbert. Gilbert's down over the quarter line looking for support. He's got it away, O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan links up with Bacco. Bacco's almost in the clear. It goes to Walters, away to Jackson, and on to Kinner, and Chris Kinner scores the try. Canberra in front. Good football from Gilbert that opened it up, but beautifully finished off across the back line, and Chris Kinner scores the try, and the Raiders are leading 4-0.
What magnificent football from the Canberra team here. The way they kept the ball alive. Firstly, it was Gilbert on the burst, cutting back into the ruck, pushes away from the Canterbury hooker bunker there, or Folkestone was, into the clear, looks for support there at the last moment, and there it was. It actually the ball getting knocked back to O'Sullivan. He kept it going as it travels out through the backs, then linking up there. Great football as they keep it moving through Jackson, and finally finished off almost with a forward pass there. Brilliant try to Kinner. The football out to Gilbert, the power of the man as he pushes through one, then starts to look for support as he comes to the final defence. A little step there, pulling in two men. The ball goes back to O'Sullivan. He cuts across field looking for the support. He knew that they had to be out wide there because Canterbury's defence had come in. Finally out to Jackson, and the final pass over in the corner.
So here's the attempted conversion goal. Matthew Corkery taking over the kicking duties. Ashley Gilbert still down in the back play after he got hit rather high as he got that ball away. That kick looks pretty good. What a great kick! Super kick from Matthew Corkery, and the Raiders have skipped away to lead early on. After just 5 minutes of play, it's the Raiders leading by 6 points to 0. Ashley Gilbert, though, I think is going to spend a few minutes in the sin bin, the head bin. He got hit very late, well, not so late, but very high, as he got that pass away that really did set up the first try.
No, he's very groggy, and he got a high tackle, but he continued on, got the pass away, and we must congratulate the tremendous support play from the Canberra side, particularly Sam Bacco, who was able to give one of the passes there. He chased Gilbert upfield, was able to give the ball out, and a tremendous try to the...
Oh, that was a high tackle. Folks is going to get called out here. He has to be. Brent Todd taken in a very high tackle, and now Dean Lance is obviously coming in and saying to referee Mick Stone, what about the other one on Ashley Gilbert? And Mick Stone's going to have to do something very quickly about this, because that's two. Have a look at this. Now Canberra, they've really got their backs up at the moment, and that's Todd who's tackled. Only 18 metres out from the Canterbury line. The Raiders are in front 6-0. There's Bacco comes down the centre. He's still going. Look at Big Sam go. And he's almost got all the way. The big ex-North Queenslander's got it within a metre of the line. Walters, Steve Walters in a dummy half. They take their time to get off him. They've got the ball now. Henjack, away it comes to O'Sullivan. He's got it away to Walters. Now Kinner, he's got to run to the wing. He's come back on the inside though. They quickly regroup that time, the Canterbury defence. 12 metres out. Now that's Kevin Walters from dummy half. He's still going. Little Kevin Walters, he's almost in. He's almost over the line. Half a metre out. Brother Steve at dummy half as O'Sullivan chips it into the in-goal area. Farrer is taken and Farrer's hammered into the deck. They were quickly up there that time, the Raiders. Play will restart with a line drop out. Still Canberra leading 6-0. Have a look at this again.
Well, it's tremendous pressure play by Canberra. They chip ahead, but well covered up by Andrew Farrer, who was in position for the kick, but pressure on with a line drop out.
Great defence from Dean Lance. Read that to perfection. Having a great game.
Les Morrissey's out there for Ashley Gilbert while he's in the head bin.
So here's Gary Belcher. running it back. A great runner of the football. 5 metres out from this Canterbury line. Lance. Now that's Todd. Now interesting to note also, Mark, as we said, this hard Monday night game. Some of the clubs who've had to back up on the Saturday after playing on Monday night have said it's very hard to find their footing in the first 20 minutes or so.
Well, I think there's been 3 occasions and those sides have all lost, and that's significant in this game because Canberra, we saw the determination on their faces. They ran out and they're playing super football.
Here goes Kevin Walters. Back it goes to Henjack. Henjack for the line. Henjack's in. Try. Canberra in again. It's 10-0. Beautiful football from Canberra.
The crowd's gone mad here, the home crowd. Listen to the support they're giving it and what football it is from the Raiders. A couple of Canterbury players are going to be laying in the mud here, watching Henjack disappear. O'Sullivan at his tackle, pushing away from Folks, gets it back inside, and then there was the second tackle. Out it goes to finally the halfback Kevin Walters. It goes once more to Henjack, and he's over.
Well, it was Henjack who started it and Henjack who finished it. He's been playing at half-back, and of course we've had Kevin Walters out in the centres. Walters backed up, was able to get the ball, then back inside to the half-back who was backing up. Ivan Henjack, listed in the program as a centre. He's been playing half-back. His organisation has been the reason why the Raiders are so far in front after only, would you believe, 9 minutes.
Corkery comes in. There's the kick, and it's a shocker. So the score remains at 10 points to 0. Canterbury have missed 11 tackles. Warren Ryan, I don't think he will change that expression for much of the first half unless the Bulldogs score. Canberra Raiders line, Bugden away to Steve Mortimer. It goes across from Langmack. Now that's Gillespie. Gillespie stands and delivers, and it's Langmack, and away it goes again towards Hagan. Hagan's held up only about 13 metres out from that Canberra line. 11 metres in from the other touchline as it comes. Steve Mortimer blindside. Now that's Folks. Folks can't get his pass away. Dunn moves into dummy half. Dunn on his own. Big Paul Dunn. Dunn charges the line. He's held up on the 4th tackle a few metres out. Steve Mortimer. The pass. It's gone wild. I think Langmack's got there first. He's towed it through. O'Sullivan's got it. O'Sullivan's missed it. Belcher picks it up. Belcher on his hands and knees crawls back into the field of play.
Well, danger for both sides there, really. If Belcher had been able to pick that up and take it out wide, there was a chance there for the Canberra side.
Have a look at this again. The ball's loose. Now Langmack comes through, takes the odds to it, sockers it through, off the legs of the Canberra player. Now O'Sullivan has it, now he has it, now he's lost it. Belcher's there first, on his hands and knees. Look at that. Steve Mortimer, that long pass comes away to Tony Curry. Beautiful defence by Jackson, right round his bootlaces. Campbell, now that's Gillespie. Gillespie's got his pass away. It's a loose one. Hagan's managed to back to the quarter line. They're finding trouble with their footing, especially in the centre of the field. Quick switch from Steve Mortimer. Back to Folks. Down the centre goes Steve Folks. And Folks only 12 metres away from the Canberra line. Bugden, blindside, it comes to Dunn. Dunn's got a lovely pass away to Gillespie. Gillespie's lost the ball. I think that Canberra have come up with it in the end, but the referee's going to put the scrum down, playing the advantage.
Yes, it was a good ball to Gillespie, and Gillespie simply dropped it.
They've got it just inside Canterbury's territory. Steve Walters plays it. Henjack's kick. Now this one's for the grandstand touchline, but Farrer's safely underneath that. And he runs it back across the quarter line. Good run from Andrew Farrer. He's still going. What a good piece of football. Well, we've seen him twice now with that strength. Get through tackles. He's a very strong runner of the football. Mistake by Canterbury, and Steve Mortimer just manages to dive on it to clean it up after Tunks had gone without it. Now Gillespie from dummy half. Gillespie on his own. Can't get through the tackle of Coyne. Still just inside Canterbury's territory. The Bulldogs with the ball. They've lost it. Steve Walters comes up with the ball for Canberra.
Very good defence once again by the halfback come centre, Kevin Walters.
Dean Lance. Peter Mortimer up very quickly that time. They're trying to really put pressure on O'Sullivan, it seems, as the ball's not played. And the referee's on it. What's going to happen here? It's got to be a penalty to Canterbury. It's against O'Sullivan. Might have a look at this again.
It was interesting. He played the ball, but Chris O'Sullivan seemed to be looking at what he was going to do next with the ball.
And now here's Campbell with the ball. Campbell keeps it going. Steve Mortimer for the corner. Steve Mortimer looking for support. He's got it away. The ball's gone loose. And I think Canberra come up with it, but the referee's going to penalise them. The ruling's correct. Chris Kinner was definitely in front of the previous Canberra player who touched that ball. As Steve Mortimer's pass came back on the inside, it came off a Canberra hand. Kinner was in an offside position, but you can't really blame him. He had to take the odds of securing possession, and so Canterbury are going to have a shot at goal. And if there is a man on this field who can kick a heavy football a long distance, it's this man, Colin Whitfield. He kicks the way he did the other night. He'll kick this out into the Leagues Club.
It's almost a tragic mistake, Chris O'Sullivan at dummy half, not seeing the ball come back between his legs. And then, of course, Canterbury ending up with the penalty. All of a sudden, it's been all Canberra up till now, but all of a sudden Canterbury are down there shooting for goal.
I think they've taken a sensible decision, though, to kick for goal. I think they need to settle their play down. Steve Mortimer can have a talk to his players. They've certainly been lagging a little bit in the defensive aspect. Now they've got to just settle down, talk to each other, communicate, and make sure that they get back on the right track.
Colin Whitfield, there's Stevie Mortimer, puffing. He is puffing.
Well, he just made a very good break down the left-hand side. Unfortunately, there was no support, and the Canberra side has been supporting their players, but there, Canterbury had the chance, but there wasn't anybody within cooey of Steve Mortimer.
So here's Colin Whitfield, the chance to put the Bulldogs on the scoreboard. He moves in. There's the kick. He's got it. 2 points to Canterbury, Bankstown. Colin Whitfield, 1 from 1. And so 16 minutes remaining in the first half. Canterbury with the ball just inside their own territory. Langmack's pass away now. They've got it back across the halfway line. So there's the errors at the moment. Canterbury just missing too many tackles. But they missed most of those in the first quarter of an hour. The last quarter of an hour or so, Canterbury really have improved quite markedly. And they must admit they have had a succession of penalties to help them, and there's another one.
Well, at one stage it read the penalties 3-0, I believe, and now it's 6-3 in favour of Canterbury. So we've seen 6 successive penalties to the Canterbury side. It's allowed them 1 goal and a possibility of another as Whitfield lines up this one.
Here comes Whitfield, the chance to narrow the margin to just 1 converted try, and he's got it. What a great kick from Whitfield. And so with just 12 and a half minutes remaining in the first half, the Raiders have had that 10-0 lead whittled down to be just leading now by 6 points, 10 points to 4. Blindside. Steve Folkes kicking for touch, and he's found it. 11 metres, still inside Canterbury's territory.
A little bit dangerously too, I thought there. Matthew Corkery could have had a go at that, and there was no one down the sideline.
There's the kick. And no one there at all. You see Corkery, the last man. If he got the right bounce, that's got to be a penalty. Well, you know, that was certainly in the second row, the original feed. Let's see where this one goes. It's come out Canberra's way, and they've got the penalty as well. Well, the first one was as blatant as you'll ever see.
Yes, he allowed him that one go, and then he penalised the hooker.
But the first one, I don't think I've ever seen one that blatant.
That one happened right in front of me here on the sideline, and there was no doubt that Steve Mortimer had to get that second one in if he wasn't going to give away a penalty, and he couldn't get it into the tunnel. There wasn't one.
It was the first time Canberra have got a penalty, though, in about a quarter of an hour or so. Now, what can they do with it? Steve Walters, Coyne, and Coyne's hammered into the deck. Only about 5 or 6 metres out. Steve Walters moves to dummy half as he gets the ball away. Goes on his own. That's Bacco down the centre, and Bacco almost forces his way over. And Sam Bacco will get up and play it. Only about 1.5 metres out there from those goalposts. Taking his time to get up. Steve Walters, away it comes. So Sullivan away to Belcher. Belcher's away from one. Belcher spies the opening, still going. And Gary Belcher only 5 or 6 metres out from that Canterbury line. Steve Walters against the dummy half. It comes away from Henjack. Quickly it goes to O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan's in the opening. 9 metres out. Last tackle against the Raiders. Henjack's little grubber kick in behind the defence. Oh, Jackson, I think, scored. Jackson's got there first, and that's a super try. Oh, what's that for reflexes? Have a look at this again. Henjack, a beautiful kick. The Canberra Raider fans are going wild. They know now that they're a chance of being at the FCG come September. And this little try, this little kick, and the brilliant reflexes of Jackson. Have a look at this. Henjack's kick in behind the Canterbury defence. And look at Jackson. Brilliant. Read that to perfection. That is a super try and might be the one.
There was almost nothing the defence could do about it. It was a perfectly positioned kick. The understanding there with Jackson as he comes screaming through. Canterbury winger tried to cut it off, but he had no chance. Whitfield couldn't get there. Brilliant football by the two in combination. The little kick, perfectly judged, just the right distance. It only just crossed the try line, and Jackson was there to dive on it.
12 metres in from the grandstand touchline, 2 metres outside the quarter line. An important kick. Of course, if this wind comes up in the second half, the Raiders should be right on top. There it is. It's swinging away, though. He's missed it. But still the margin is 10 points with 7 minutes remaining in the first half. Canberra leading Canterbury Bankstown by 14 points to 4. And the action man scored the try. And Bugden's tackled. 2 metres still inside Canterbury's territory as it comes from Dunn to Steve Mortimer. Away it goes to Gillespie, but Gillespie beautifully tackled. That was Henjack right round the bootlaces. O'Sullivan over the top that time. But Peter Mortimer does pretty well to grab hold of that pass. Last tackle against Canterbury. So comes away Steve Mortimer. Mortimer puts the kick in. Belcher right underneath it, straight down his throat. And Belcher running it back across the quarter line, straightens up, looks for a patch of ground where it's probably not even, or not that muddy, so he can see if he can continue on with his run. Can't do so.
There definitely seems to be some confusion in the Canterbury lineup as far as getting a good kick away on the fifth tackle. That was a poor kick, and recently they had the intercept on the fifth tackle.
Well, there we are, the siren in the back play. The whistle goes from referee Mick Stone, and the half of football that the Canterbury fans and Warren Ryan would probably wish to forget, but a half of football that all of these Canberra Raiders supporters would hopefully continue in the second half and take them on their path towards the Sydney Cricket Ground. Okay, Mark Levy in the commentary position with me today. Shortly we'll go down to the sidelines and hear from Warren Boland as we're about to see the second half kick off. And as Warren said at the beginning of the game, it was a bit of a surprise that Canberra ran into the wind in the first half. But now that we look at the flags on top of the scoreboard, it does seem to indicate that the wind has picked up a fraction here in this second half. And there you have a look. The wind has picked up just a fraction, and if it does pick up any more, the decision to run against the wind in the first half will be one that will receive rave notices. 10 metres out from the Canterbury line. Been a fair bit of feeling in this game as Hagan is going to find touch or Willie. It's not a good kick. Kinner gets back. Kinner gets the ball, and so Canberra have got it. And that can be the danger of trying that short kick on the first 4 tackles. But if you don't find touch, you put a lot of pressure on yourself, because Canberra have got the ball only 30 metres out from the Canterbury line.
Well, we saw in the first half, I thought there was a chance to Matthew Corkery if he really had an attempt at it down the left-hand touchline. And this time back this way, we've found Canterbury not picking up the touchline, and we're back to the 22-metre line.
Coyne just outside that 22-metre line. Steve Walters, Henjack, away it comes out of Jackson. Jackson standing in the tackle, can't deliver the pass though. Fourth tackle against the Raiders. Steve Walters again at dummy half. Steve Walters on his own, throws the dummy. Oh, that's good defence with Gillespie, and also involved in that was Steve Folkes. Last tackle. Now O'Sullivan thought about the field goal, now goes on his own. O'Sullivan still going, away to Dean Lance. Lance almost in the clear, he is. It's Kinner for the corner. Kinner can't get the ball down. In fact, he's going to be tackled half a metre out, and it's going to be, the referee is calling for the handover as Chris Kinner almost managed to get that ball over the line. How close can they go to scoring a try?
Very close. Chris O'Sullivan, I'm sure, was looking for the field goal attempt. The Canterbury defence held off him. He ran back. Possibly there was even a hint of a shepherd in it, but he got away from it, and it went out to Dean Lance, and then Lance broke a tackle. I think Folkes again was able to get it out to Kinner. Unfortunately, Kinner, who came inside, did everything but get over the line.
Quickly moved across that Canterbury back line. It comes to Peter Mortimer. But again, the defence is too good. Whitfield with the ball. 20 metres out now from his own line. He'll play it to Hagan. Steve Mortimer almost intercepted that pass. Done with the ball. The defence arrived at the same time. He had no chance at all to do anything then. It was good football from Bacco. Dummy half. It's going on his own Bugden.
I don't think Sam ever had any inkling of taking the intercept. He was happy to take the player out, and I think safety first for Canberra is the go.
Now Canterbury with the ball, and that's Folkes who's put the kick in. The ball, the bounce is not going to favour Canterbury. It's Belcher who gathers it in that very muddy area. He tries to run it away from Curry. Can't do so. Hagan up there in support. 33 metres out from that Canberra line as Kinner goes from dummy half. He's away from Curry. Can he get away from Folkes? No, not too many do. Coyne Corkery deciding to go for a gallop.
I like the way Steve Walters has been dictating play from dummy half. He's been having a few dashes himself and just directing the play from there, and it's a fine percentage football.
Just inside Canberra's territory, Steve Walters. Away it comes now to Kevin Walters. O'Sullivan, the quick pass. And now good football from Gilbert. He floats it over the top. Now that's Martin. Now look at this young man go. He's got a lot of speed, Paul Martin. The pass back on the inside. Dunn can't gather it. I'm certain someone called for it, but he should have kept it going to Kinner.
It should have been passed on the outside. Not only was Kinner there, but Chris O'Sullivan and Jackson was there as well.
Well, there's the pass back on the inside. No doubts, though, that someone called for it, and I wouldn't mind betting that it was a Canterbury player who called on the inside.
Oh, yes, I think so, and rightfully so, because there was danger on the right-hand side, what with Chris O'Sullivan and Chris Kinner there, and Jackson lurking in the background.
And there was an attempt at intercept by O'Sullivan that didn't come off. The referee says play on, though.
Knock on by O'Sullivan, I would have said.
I would have thought so. Well, they got away with that. Lance. Let's have another look at this. Well, that might have been a very good decision by Mick Stone. Isn't it amazing? That really did look as if there's a floated pass that almost finished up with Whitfield, and now Corkery's done well. Corkery over the quarter line. Corkery versus Farah. Corkery around Farah, and Corkery's in. What a brilliant individual try. And they've certainly secured a position in the top 5 at this moment, because they've got the ball game all parcelled up this afternoon. Canberra are leading Canterbury 18-4, and what a brilliant piece of individual football that was. Have a look at this again, and there's the pass. It's Kevin Walters away. Jackson's floated pass just when it looked as if Whitfield might get to the ball first and bring up an intercept. Now Corkery, he's away from one. He sprints away from Peter Mortimer across the quarter line, comes to Farah. Look at that, beautiful in and out. Thank you very much. That's a good try.
When Jackson threw this pass over the top, I thought back to Wayne Bennett's words at half-time about lack of discipline, because he put a lot of pressure on Corkery, but he shrugged off the tackle, steps back inside, and then turns on the pace. This is his 11th try of the season, and what a flyer. He just goes all the way, but then the magnificent sidestep there at the end to leave Andrew Farrell behind. In the heavy conditions, it's hard for Farrell to make a tackle like that when he's got to take him head on. And celebrations among Canberra, and why not? Because they've got this game parcelled up, even though there's 23 minutes to go. 18 points to 4 with a kick to come.
Gary Belcher taking over the goal-kicking duties. It's straight, but it's not straight enough. And so, as Ashley Gilbert's coming to the sideline, Gary Belcher goes back to fullback. And so 4 tries to Canberra as they lead Canterbury 18 points to 4. And that try scored 27 minutes into the second half. Crowd mostly green and white.
Les Morrissey coming on for Ashley Gilbert. I'm not surprised to see Ashley Gilbert leave the field, because he was looking pretty tight. So Sam Bacco out there looking a little tight, though Gilbert has been still turning it on right to the last moment.
Well, there was the kick-off. The referees ruled that Belcher knocked that on.
Canberra have only kicked 1 goal from 5 attempts, and just think of what the score could have been had they made sure that their goal kicking was spot on today.
If they'd been able to do that, to us another 8 points, would have been 26-4. Canterbury, though, with a chance to get back into the game as Hagan going straight down the centre. Hagan almost pirouetted out of that last tackle. He's only a couple of metres out from that Canberra line. Langmack, it comes to Tunks. Tunks with strength trying to get his arms free and deliver the pass. Can't. The ball comes away. Bugden, Steve Mortimer, cuts out Peter Mortimer. Curry for the corner. It goes to Campbell. Campbell slips over, though, as he tried to come back on the inside of Kinner. Jackson's down injured, charging the line, Peter Mortimer, and Peter Mortimer's held up in tackle number 5. Canterbury charging at the Canberra line at the moment. Steve Mortimer, it comes to Dunn. Dunn trying to force his way over. He's into the end goal, but the referee says held up. And so Dunny still hasn't scored a first-rate try with Canterbury.
Superb work by Paul Dunny. Ran onto the ball, but look at the defence come from everywhere. Canberra desperate to keep their line intact, to make sure that the Canterbury side doesn't score this afternoon. That was beautiful defence by 3 players.
Tony Curry clapping on the speed up over the halfway. Curry almost into the clear. Kevin Walters in cover. The pass comes back to Hagan. Back it goes. No, Hagan decided not to throw it. And the ball's gone loose and has been picked up by Chris Kinner. Now Kinner going for a dash down the left touch line. And he's tackled 34 metres out as Hagan, I thought, was going to give it back to Curry. and then in the end, in the defence, he lost the ball, and there's another great run from Corkery.
Well, there's no doubt that Michael Hagan should have sent it back inside to Curry, because Curry also had a man backing up inside, but Hagan did the wrong thing. He didn't throw the ball, and here's a chance for Canberra.
And here they go, Gary Belcher. Belcher, the pass comes back to O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan can't get away from Dunn. The pass has gone loose. Kevin Walters picks it up, and Kevin Walters is taken to the ground. Only about 13 metres out. It's going from dummy half. It comes away to Jackson, to Coyne, and Coyne will score. Coyne's in. Gary Coyne has scored the try. Superb football from Canberra. If you back up the man carrying the football, you must score tries, and that's exactly what Canberra have done this afternoon. Basic fundamental football, but they've executed it to the outstanding achievement where they're leading by 18 points. Look at this, bang. Even bumped Steve Folkes off in the end. Now there's Belcher. The pass comes back towards Chris O'Sullivan. This was the movement. O'Sullivan trying to get away from Dunn. Bricks the ball up. Ball goes loose. Kevin Walters gathers it in. Walters is taken into the ground. Only a few metres out though from that Canterbury line. Steve Walters, his brother. The pass comes away. That's Jackson. Back on the inside is Coyne. And look at this. Even bumped off Steve Folkes to score the try. And look at that. Jackson and Coyne. Two former Queenslanders. Another one comes in, Kevin Walters. And Belcher to try and convert the try from right on the touchline, 24 metres out. Not an easy kick as he moves in. He struck that one a lot better. Look at this one for a kick. He's got it. One up, one down. The referee says no. Oh. Well, he might have been a bit unlucky with that one.
Well, what a disappointment for him. That was his third attempted goal, and that's 3 misses, but he struck that one beautifully. Unfortunately, the referee, who was the arbitrator after there's one up and one down, decided not to give it to him. 22 points to 4.
Tunks takes it up. Tunks the pass offloaded to Langmack, who's hit by Morrissey to Dunn, and away it comes to Mortimer. Peter Mortimer up over the halfway. Back on the inside is Campbell. Somehow he got that. It goes back to Dunn. On it goes to Steve Mortimer. Away it goes to Curry. Curry almost in the clear. He's got a lot of speed. He's got it away to Hagan. Hagan standing, looking, finding it went back from Farah. Now it's with Folkes. Folkes trying to get the pass away, but great defence from O'Sullivan. Lance was back there as well as they keep it going. That's Tunks, the pass away. Steve Mortimer. Steve Mortimer can't get through that tackle. The ball is quickly played. Last tackle against Canterbury. As quickly it comes away from Farah. It goes to Curry. They should score here. And Curry, he's lost the ball. And they've got it through Corkery and back into the field of play. And the Raiders will play it. Curry couldn't score the try.
Magnificent tackle by Kevin Walters in defence. He's absolutely thrown himself at Tony Curry, who looked certain to score. Curry couldn't get it. The only option was to throw it away, and Canberra come up with possession. Beautiful tackle by Kevin Walters.
And there's the other angle of it. Look at that. The long pass comes away to Tunks. Now that's Folkes. Folkes in open space. Folkes almost to the quarter line. Offloads it. Back it goes to Jason Alchin. Alchin the little pirouette. Back it comes to Dunn. Dunn away to Curry. Curry goes to the quarter line. Curry goes on his own, but good defence that time. That was Morrissey who read that well. Came racing across. Kinner stayed on his wing and looked after Campbell. Steve Mortimer, I should say, the little chip kick through. Too long in the end. Across the dead ball line, and Belcher gathers the ball up as Canberra bring it back to the quarter line.
Well, it really was a desperation kick there. Steve Mortimer really didn't have anything to aim for except Gary Belcher, who's always in position. It just went too far, and certainly it was a frustration kick.
So now going from dummy half, Mark Mugden, Andrew Farah, Steve Mortimer, Jason Alchin. Away it comes now from Curry. He got the ball back from Hagan, and then look at the speed that Curry's got. It's Whitfield with it now. But Corkery sticks to him like glue. Puts him on the deck, 14 or 15 metres out. Canterbury still with the ball. Alchin away to Steve Mortimer. Back it goes to Farah, who knocks it on. It wasn't a good pass from Mortimer. He comes back. That's Alchin. Steve Mortimer, the quick pass back the other way. Almost had it, but with a greasy ball, a very difficult assignment to grab hold of it.
Yes, the ball was just passed too far in front of Andrew Farah there. He couldn't hold on, and Steve Mortimer has been responsible for a few mistakes this afternoon. Not a happy game for Steve.
And now Belcher. As the siren goes in the background, he won't even have to get up and play it, Gary Belcher. One of the most memorable wins ever by the Canberra Raiders as they have defeated the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs by 22 points to 4. An outstanding display. They are definitely in the 5, irrespective of what else happens this weekend. They are certainly in the top 5, and if Eastern Suburbs should beat South Sydney tomorrow, Canberra will leapfrog South and move into outright 4th position. The battle for the final 5 continues, but the Raiders fans can breathe just that fraction easier today, and what a great game some of them played. They were all heroes today, though. Let's have a look at the details, and I think that says it all. Canterbury kept tryless. For Canberra, though, Kinner, Henja, Jackson, Corkery and Coyne, 5 tries in all, and in the end Corkery was only successful with his first attempted goal, and 1 goal from 7 between the 2 Canberra kickers, Gary Belcher and Matthew Corkery. So it could quite easily have been 34-4 because the goals they missed weren't that difficult. In fact, the most difficult one of the day was kicked by Corkery. The second most difficult one of the day saw 1 flag up, 1 flag down and disallowed by the referee. So it could have been a lot more embarrassing as far as Canterbury are concerned. They've got a lot of hard work to do before next weekend. Canberra travel to Redfern Oval, and they'll be very hard to beat with the confidence that they will glean out of that win.